What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the shop. I hope everyone is doing great. So this video is going to be a little bit different from the other videos that I've put out. I'm trying a bunch of different formats here on this channel, and this is going to be one of those new ones. So instead of just putting some music over the project, what I'm going to actually be doing is explaining to you what I'm doing along with the actual process of building the project. So this morning I woke up nice and early. I came out here into the shop and started working on this box that you have the opportunity to win. I'm actually going to be giving it away to one of you lucky subscribers. Once I complete this box, I will be announcing how you can actually enter to win the box. So to start out, I need to insert the bottom panel into the sides of the box, and in order to do that, I decided to go with a groove in the bottom of the box where I actually cut, it was just under 3/8 of an inch, and I used the table saw in order to do that, and I moved the fence over just a little bit until I snuck up on that perfect 3/8 of an inch. But because those leg pieces are also a part of the box, those interfered with the sliding in of that bottom panel. So I had to actually carefully notch out a small section in those legs in order to house that bottom panel, and that was actually pretty enjoyable. I got to use the handsaw in order to score those lines, and then I cleaned it up with a small 1/4 inch chisel. Now after I did that to the legs, I assembled the entire thing and put in the bottom panel. Now I actually ended up leaving that panel just a little bit long and just a little bit wide so that then I could trim it down once the entire box was together. And it turns out I had to take off just over 1/8 of an inch on the length, and then as far as the width goes, I think I took off 1/8 on there. And then I assembled the entire thing just to make sure it would fit together, and then I started sanding the entire thing before I actually added the glue. So I ended up sanding the legs and the side panels, and I gently rounded over those edges just a little bit. I didn't want to use the router because I felt like that would add too much detail. Just a little subtle round over with some sandpaper worked really well, and I think that gives the best look for this box. It's simple, it's elegant, and I think it works well with the overall piece. It's not like competing for attention, I guess. So those edges I just rounded over, I sanded up to a 320 grit. And then I started putting the box together. Now because the legs actually have that subtle taper on them, I actually had to use the offcut from that piece in order to clamp it parallel. So I had to do this. This is the kind of thing where you almost wish you had 3 hands, but I was able to get through it, and I ended up putting a bunch of pipe clamps on because the squeeze clamps that I have weren't actually enough pressure in order to get the joint to seat properly. So I ended up taking down most of my pipe clamps. I really do need to get some more of those. I love the 36 inch, 24 inch, that range of clamp. I think that works really good for this kind of project, but I ended up clamping it up successfully with a level of patience and persistence. I had to kind of mix match the clamps, pull them in different directions and stuff like that in order to get it to seed in the spots that were still loose, but it worked out good in the end. And while that was actually gluing up, that is when I started to work on the top lid. Now I ended up having just enough material to do the lid. You can see that after I cut that piece off, there was just maybe 8 or 9 inches of material left over, and that lets me know that I got the most out of that entire board. So I ended up doing the normal process of milling up a board. I first jointed the pieces together. I did multiple passes on there to make sure I got a nice flat surface. I jointed one edge of the board, and then I took them over to the planer where I could take them down to thickness, just under 3/4 of an inch. And I think that will look good for the lid. I didn't want it too thick, but I didn't want it too thin. I slowly took off the material from the planer in order to bring it down to a thickness that I was happy with. After that, I ended up trimming them down just a little bit on the table saw in order to clean off both edges. I ended up leaving the panel actually a few inches wide so that then once I actually have the box out of the clamps, I can measure the right distance that I want for the lid. I don't know exactly what I want. In woodworking, most of the stuff we do, we always take away material, but we know that we can't really add material. That's kind of my mythology with woodworking in general. I try to sneak up on that line as close to I can. If I go over, you can never add that material back. So I have to have a level of patience with this kind of thing. And believe it or not, that was the progress for the day. I actually have both the lid and the box still sitting in the clamps. I am in a stopping point here in this project. So tomorrow what I will end up doing is actually taking the pieces out of the clamps and sanding down the lid, attaching it with some hinges onto the box, and doing the finished sanding and touch up on the box itself. I might add some detail to the lid. I'll probably add some subtle bevels on the top that might match the legs. I think that's gonna look really good. I'm still kind of working out what I want in my head, but that's the kind of thing I will think about tonight. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a little bit different talking to you. It actually felt good to be able to actually like explain the entire process and not have this video like a half-hour long. I always struggle with putting in too much information or putting in not enough information. I'm trying to find a sweet spot in there where I can make the most people happy and still be able to share with you the process of whatever project I'm working on. So I really do hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to have your feedback down in the comments. That would really help me out, and I love your feedback. I love your constructive criticism. Over the next couple days, as I actually finish this box, I will be announcing how you can actually enter to win, and I'm going to be giving it away to one of you lucky subscribers. So I hope it's you. I hope you enter to win. That is basically going to be it for this one, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.
Everyone who's gone on here, I've lost their hope and felt the fear, trying to get a hold of the moment, save the strength and hold